Welcome to Moon Shoot Science! Many of our everyday objects link back to the goal to get to the moon. To better understand our world today, let's see the science of the first lunar landing in 12 steps. 1. Gravity glue. Gravity is where big objects pull on smaller objects. Gravity is why the Earth goes around the Sun. It is why the Moon orbits the Earth too. Gravity holds this rocket onto the Earth. There are people at the top of the spaceship. They need a push to overcome gravity. 2. Fires and forces. The confident but concerned humans count down.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Rocket fuel and oxygen burn together. The fire pushes down. These forces push the rocket upwards towards space. The rocket weighed over 6 million pounds. The first stage engines push up with over 7 million pounds of force called thrust. 3. Orbit Earth. After 3 stages of engine fires, the spacecraft and crew are this far above the Earth. They are going this fast. There is a point where the aircraft's speed forward matches the gravity pull down. The spacecraft circles or orbits the Earth. Orbiting Earth gives the crew time to make sure all systems are working right. But circling the Earth does not get us to the moon. 4. Bye-bye Earth. After a few Earth orbits, the rocket's stage 3 engine fires again. The spacecraft speeds up to this speed. This is a fast enough speed to escape from Earth's gravity. The engine capsule and excited crew aim for where the moving moon will be in 3 days. 5. Line up and latch 1. As planned, the third stage rocket runs out of fuel. The spacecraft speeds. The top part of the spacecraft is called the Crew and Service Module, or CSM. Per plan, the CSM separates. This is one of the riskiest parts of the whole trip. The CSM fires small thrusters to flip around 180 degrees. It is now in front of the lunar module called LEM. With nail-biting precision control, the crew latches up the CSM and LEM. 6. Sensors and software. Together, craft and crew push toward the moon. Sensors, computers with software, and human hands work together. They guide or plan out the path towards the lunar target. With help from ground mission control, the spacecraft and crew constantly check and correct their speed and location. Mini-engine thrusters fired to push the spacecraft to the right course. There are no en route service stations, no place to safely stop. The lone spacecraft shoots toward the moon. 7. Orbit Moon. After 3 days of space travel, CSM engines fire to slow them down. With precision position, the spacecraft enters moon orbit. Moon gravity is only 1/6 of Earth gravity, but it is strong enough to pull the Earth-made objects into moon orbit. The crew sees the rough surface of the moon outside their spaceship windows. They think about the enabling science and the billion hours of human work to get to this point. The cratered lunar surface below calls out to Earth-based crew. 8. Moon pull. Next, shielded in spacesuits, 2 astronauts enter the Lunar Equipment Module, LEM. Astronaut Collins stays in the CSM to keep it on course. The lunar module separates from the CSM. LEM engines fire to slow its speed. Moon gravity pulls the LEM down. The Apollo computers control the LEM's engines as they move towards the moon. 9. Land and leap. The digital computers with hand-weaved memory get the craft and crew close to the moon. Near the moon, The human pilot takes over control of the spacecraft descent. He skillfully controls the spaceship. He selects a safe, boulder-free landing site. Awesome! The two-man crew in the LEM, named Eagle, lands on the moon. Enabled by centuries of science, a human opens the off-world spacecraft door. With bulky armor-like spacesuit and boots, he struggles down the short ladder. Astronaut Armstrong gives a famous speech.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
He then successfully steps onto the still moon. Next, astronaut Buzz walks on the moon too. They explore and pick up moon rocks for science. 10. Leave and latch 2. For 2 hours, they moonwalk and do science experiments. They do one last look at the lunar landscape. Next, the astronauts go back inside the LEM. They sleep in their spacesuits. The next morning, with stress, they press the up button. The LEM splits in half. The single-point engine fires. They escape off the moon. After 4 hours in lunar orbit, they hook back up to the CSM. Think about all the math and machines needed to move the 2 tiny space pieces back together again. 11. Next stop, Earth. The crew moves themselves and their precious moon rocks into the CSM. Next, they let go of the half LEM. As planned, it crashes onto the moon below. The crew fire up the main engine. This pushes them back towards the Earth. The return trip is more relaxed. They still have to keep making course corrections. 12. Shields and splashes. A week after they left, the spacecraft and crew see a familiar circle in the Black Sea of space. The service module engine burns one last time to slow them down. Just 2% of the weight of the launch rocket has returned. Next, they unhook the faithful service module. The command module speeds at 24,000 miles per hour. The CSM enters Earth's atmosphere. Air friction heats up the CSM. Special heat shields protect the craft and crew. Parachutes open. They splash down in a peaceful ocean on Earth. To close, the first moonshot is a success. Over 50 years ago, humans stretched with science to shoot for and step onto the moon. Today, spin-offs from this moonshot improve our lives on Earth. Still, we look up to the starry skies with wonder. When will we have the self-courage to continue our space quest? We humans together need to make our next moonshoot goals to the moon, Mars, and more. Our blue dot home planet is but the starting point.